Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It's Cutler here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. I am just so looking forward to this evening's conversation, this evening's dialogue, this evening's exchange. Hey, listen, if you're passing by my channel, if you're just drifting by, just stopping by for the very first time, please do me a favor. Stop, give me only 1,800 seconds. That's all I need. That's all I need. This channel is about motivation. It's about inspiration. It's about really sharing love, spreading positivity, showing, taking a look at ourselves to see how we can show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. It doesn't mean that today was a loss. It doesn't mean that today was a flop. It doesn't mean that today was a failure at all. Nope, not at all. We here, the fellow passengers along the highway of life, we've just decided we're going to stop, take a few moments, and do some introspective looking at ourselves to see, hey, what did I do well today that I can take in tomorrow with me? What lessons can I learn? That sort of thing. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited. You all know the holidays are so special to me. And with everything that goes on around the holidays, so many people are sad. So many people are discouraged. So many people are depressed. I just want to do something a little different. So the producers got together and they decided, Cutler, let's do what you do. Why don't you just cook? So I'm so excited. I'm so excited. The last time we were here, we talked about our premiered, Cooking with Cutler, and we showed a wonderful sweet potato cake. Well, you all, I have a treat for you. I have a treat for you all this evening, but I'm also going to do something else a little special. And I tell you what, go on and get everybody. Tell me, come on, we're gonna talk about that cobbler. I'm gonna show you all how to make that cobbler, but I'm also going to premiere something else, a piece of poetry that I've written, and you all will hear it for the first time. I want to share that with you. But listen, tell people if they haven't joined, tell them, come on and subscribe. If you've seen this channel, if you've been here one or two times, you're already like family. You're already one of our fellow passengers on this highway of life. You're riding along with us as we're reading these billboards to better. So why not go ahead and subscribe? All right, go ahead and subscribe, and then click on the notification button to let you know whenever I've gone live and whenever I've uploaded new content. All right, do that. And then as you're joining the conversation, my goodness, you're already in the conversation. Yeah, we are going to cook tonight, Fabulous Me. We're already here in the conversation. So do me a favor, do a thumbs up. Let that be your holiday treat for me. Do a thumbs up on the conversation. It encourages my heart so much. And it says to the YouTube folk, hey, I like what that guy's talking about. Y'all listen, we're going to make a sweet potato cobbler, and we're going to do that as soon as I come right back. Meanwhile, tell people, come on, let's talk to Cutler.
Let's talk to Cutler. One more thing, like, subscribe and share. Come on, let's talk to Cutler.
Listen, are you all in the holiday mood? Are you all in the holiday mood? Let me know if you're in the holiday mood. I'm so excited. I love the holidays. I love hearing the music. I love seeing the people. I love feeling the chill in the air. I love all of that stuff. And I love spreading love. I love sharing love. I love all of that. All right. So as we're getting ready to cook, I'm not going to hold you all, but I do want to share something with you. If you're looking for me to talk about the book, talk from the book, Billboards to Better, I promise you I'll do that. But give me a couple shows. I'll do that a little later. Tonight, we're going to just have fun and talk about these recipes. By the way, speaking of book, let me just say this. Speaking of this, let me just tell you, somebody asked me, have you written more than one book? You all, can I just show you this? I just want to show you this. 7 books. Go on over to Amazon.com. I'm not going to talk about all these, but go over to Amazon.com, look up Gregory Brad Cutler, and the books are there. They make great stocking stuffers, if I may say that. All right, they make great stocking stuffers. And I'm going to read to you from one of these books tonight, and it's not this one. I'm going to read something that's related to cooking. All right, are you all ready? Are you all ready to bake this cobbler? Let me just shout out the LTTC VIPs. Somebody said, what does that mean? It means the Let's Talk to Cutler VIPs for the evening. They're the people who get in the chat first. Let's see. Let me see who it was tonight. Tracy Johnson says, hey, everyone, get ready for the cobbler. You're right. Annie Cutler says, let's cook. Ray Della Lewis says, hi, all. Listen, I'm just thankful to see everybody. Auntie, my friend, it's good to see you. Hattie, Devin, everybody. McDina, yeah, I know, Cutler, you shouldn't call everybody's name, but it's the holidays. I'm just going to do it for 5 more seconds. McDina, J Song for you, Aisha Fields, Fabulous Me, Vertus, and Yvonne M. Harris. Listen, come on in here, you all, and let's do what we do. Linda Sylvia, let's cook, you all. Let's cook. You all probably heard of a peach cobbler. One of my friends asked me, one of my friends said, can you make a sweet potato cobbler? I said, I'm sure I can. I'm sure I can make a sweet potato cobbler. So you all, I stumbled upon the sweet potato cobbler, not really as a challenge of sort, but because someone just asked me, could I make one? And I thought, you know, I'm not just going to make a sweet potato cobbler, but what I'm going to do is make Cutler's double layer sweet potato holiday cobbler. Y'all, come on in the kitchen with me. Let's talk about how we make this cobbler. All right, let me do this. Let's do this. Come on. I think y'all are gonna like this. This really is one of my holiday favorites. I sort of coined this phrase when it comes to this cobbler because this is Cutler's double layer sweet potato cobbler. You ain't gonna find that nowhere in the recipe book. It'll be in mine. What if I wrote a recipe book? I just gotta think about that. Since I have generations of cooks and some of my folk have lived to like 103 years old, I need to scrape up some of these recipes. You all, listen. Drop in the comments if you think I should write a recipe book, and let me know if you would support it. So just put somewhere in the comments if you would buy a recipe book from me. Now, what I'm going to do with this cobbler, this is really an easy Cutler's double layer sweet potato cobbler. It really, really is. Now, I could, and I have done this before. Sometimes I make my crust from scratch, but you all, save yourself, don't do that to yourself over this holidays. I teach y'all about, and I talk to us about rather, and encourage us not to stress out. So I'm not even gonna stress out over these pie crusts or this crust for this cobbler. Go to a supermarket, get yourself some pie crust. If you decide to be really adventurous and you wanna make your pie crust, one recommendation, don't get the old-fashioned Crisco. Get this right here, it's infused with butter. It is absolutely amazing. This is what I use to make these shortening sticks, that's what I use to make my homemade pie crust these days. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go right here. And this is a dough mat. Y'all, I'm not saying the word wrong. Not a doormat, but dough mat, D-O-U-G-H. Let me get my scissors to cut this open just a little bit more. So I can get these out. And the trick of this, y'all, is you wanna make sure that you let your dough get room temperature. And I did that. I let it get room temperature because that way you want to be able to unroll it. And you be gentle with it. You know, again, I often say, don't fight your food. Don't fight your food. Show love. All right? And I'm gonna unroll that on this dough mat. Just really, really gentle. And I think what I'm gonna do is unroll 2. Yep, I'm gonna unroll 2. And the reason you might wonder why it's sticking or why I have to keep opening it, cutting it more, is because when dough gets room temperature, it gets soft and it does stick just a bit. And that's why I'm not putting it on the counter, because it picks up even, you know, this counter clean and prepped for cooking, but I want to make sure that in case I drop some of my sweet potato skins, that it's not picking that up. You see, I'm just going very gentle. You can't be in a hurry when you're working with this. You can't be in a hurry. I remember I used to watch my family members after they'd flour and roll this and fix it and roll it. You see, I'm very delicate and gentle with it. This is putting love in your food. I would probably use that one. And what I'm going to do, there are all kinds of gadgets that you can cook with. Now, I'm not going to flour this pan at all. I'm not going to butter this pan because I'm just going to put my crust right at the bottom of it. You can use a butter knife, but I'm going to put my strips here. All right. And some people, let's see, oops. Some people like a lot of crust. You put as much crust as you want, but I'm going to show you what makes holiday cooking really, really special, especially as it pertains to Cutler's double layer cobbler. It's the time, it is the effort, and it's also the decoration. So you see I'm doing that, but then I'm going to take a few strips and I'm going to go horizontal. And it's okay to let it go up on the side. Horizontal. And as you can already imagine, some of the strips are going to be shorter, but watch what I do. I'm not going to worry about that, but I'm going to be gentle with it. Fold, let it fold, let it fold, let it fold. It's okay. Imperfections are okay. It's not necessarily artwork that we're going to hang in the Louvre in France, but we're going to enjoy. See, I'm placing this. I'm not throwing it. I tell you, I don't like for people to fight food. Don't fight my food. Just gently place it. And you can be as creative as you need to be. See that I'm dropping this down here to create really a bottom crust for this. Now I'll be a little more deliberate when I get to the top, right? And I'm leaving the spacing in there because the goal is to leave enough space so when my sweet potatoes get in there, all the brown sugar and the cinnamon and that stuff, it just sort of cooks up to the top. Now what I'm going to do, I've already cut up about 4 medium-sized sweet potatoes. 4 medium-sized sweet potatoes. And y'all, let me just show you this. You want to try to cut them to some degree as thin as you can, but it's okay if they're not very, very thick. When you get to the end, if you realize that you have a chunk that's pretty chunky, look what I did. I just cut it right in half. So don't worry about that. Now what I'm going to do is just drop them in this bowl. And as you can see, I'm not dumping. Call me old-fashioned, but I watch my my family members who just would cook like this. And by the way, if you see a few spots on the sweet potatoes, it's okay because sweet potatoes are root plants. They grow in the ground. They're root plants, and so you expect some of that because that's where the roots connect to the ground. So it's okay to have some of those. For the aesthetics, you don't want a whole lot, but you do. You don't have to worry about when you see them. And I'm just layering this. This is Cutler's double layer sweet potato holiday cobbler. All right. And I'll tell you what I'm going to use for this. I think that's pretty good. And what I'm going to do now, let's see. What I'm going to do is I think that's maybe almost half my sweet potatoes. Just a couple more. And now that I've done this, I'm going to cut another layer of my crust. And that's why this is called Cutler's double layer sweet potato holiday cobbler. But what I'm going to do just before I put this crust on it, I'm going to show you all. What I've taken, I have a cup of white sugar. I have a cup of, I'm going to leave this right there until I leave, but a cup of white sugar, a cup of brown sugar. And here I have a combination of cinnamon, nutmeg. And because they're 2 dry ingredients, I added, this is about 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon. This is 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon. And then 2 teaspoons of nutmeg. So 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon And that's 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, and I just put it together. All right, it's the it kicks, it gets flavor. And I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. So what I'm going to do is actually, y'all saw me wash my hands, didn't you? Let me say this. Don't go in your or anybody's kitchen without washing your hands. That's just a tip for the holidays. Just a tip for the holidays. And let me suggest this to you all. If you go to visit somebody, even if people do cook in the kitchen or you work in the kitchen, don't walk in their house and you walk right from the highway and just walk in their kitchen and wash your hands in their kitchen sink. People cook using their kitchen sink. Go to the bathroom. All right, but y'all saw me wash my hands. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take about half of this sugar, and it goes on this layer, you know. And here is where, this is where you feel like you're a French cook, because you're really just, you know, you're using your hands and you're cooking, right? So there's half of that sugar, you know, a little half or more. Your brown sugar, you're gonna do the same thing, right? This is good cooking. And the more you make Cutler's double layer holiday cobbler, you'll learn how much you really you want to add, how much flavor you want to add. And so I've done that. And then after you do that, you want to take just about half of this and carefully sprinkle it as well. Okay, so I do that. Looks like I should use just a little bit more of this sugar. There we go. Now what I'm going to do, you all, I'm going to add a tablespoon of my vanilla extract. I'll use a tablespoon of my vanilla extract. And remember, I told you all, whenever you use vanilla extract, please make sure that you don't use imitation. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna improvise in the middle of this. Look, I'm gonna cheat because I love me some vanilla extract. So I added just a little bit more than a tablespoon right there, but I'm gonna come back and use that again. And then let me tell you what I'm gonna do. You see this butter right here? You all, don't use margarine. Don't use margarine. Use butter. And you don't have to be picky about brand names, but just make sure that you use butter. Use salted butter. Salted butter, there's a difference, because salted butter helps to bring out the flavor of your food. So what I'm going to do, in fact, I'm going to turn this corner up just a little bit right here, and I'm going to chop up a few strips of this butter. I would do it with my hands, you know, with my fingers, but I want to be careful not to cut myself. And cold butter, you see, the reason I'm using cold butter is because I just want to put pieces of the butter throughout the different layers. And again, you all heard me say, use salted butter. Use salted butter. So I think, let's see, maybe just a little bit more, a couple more pieces. I keep saying that, don't I? Just a couple more pieces. All right, and I think that's good. That's good right there. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Are y'all ready for the holidays? Let's get ready for the holidays. Help me get ready for the holidays. Y'all, tell me something. What is your favorite holiday song? Y'all put that in the comments. What's your favorite holiday song? I think, let's see. I wonder what my favorite holiday song is. Let me think. It might be "Oh Holy Night, the stars are brightly shining." No, I like that. Hang all the mistletoe. I'm not sure. Listen, I like them all. You all, and then you just gently put these strips down. Yeah, I like this. Some people make sweet potato cobblers, but I have yet to see a double layer sweet potato cobbler. That's why I call this Cutler's double layer sweet potato holiday cobbler. But again, you all saw I was very strategic in cutting these strips. This is not the very top layer, but it is the next to the top layer. It's the middle layer. So looks are important to me when it comes to food. It really, really is, because the presentation of your food shows how much love you've put in it. I don't understand if people are going to cook why they don't put time and love into their food. I'm a country boy, and you can tell when people want you to dine and fellowship with them. And I tell you all, I'm using all of this cobbler. My friends have told me that for some of them, the cobbler or the crust is one of their favorite parts of holiday baking. So sometimes I just utilize all the crust just for the sake of cooking for my family and friends. So when you invite people to eat with you and you know what they like to eat, give them what they want. Just give them what they want. Yeah. Fine. If you want to make somebody's day when it comes to the holidays, you want to show love, I often say that the gifts that we give are really in our hands. It's not what we go to the store and buy, but it's really what we do. Let me keep it, because y'all not to talk forever, right? I'm adding another layer. I'm placing these sweet potatoes. I'm not fighting. Somebody, I bet you if some of y'all didn't hear anything, you can say, the only thing I really got away from that is that Cutler said, don't fight your food. That's right. Food is my friend. All right. Let's see. Yo, I'm sitting here dropping all these sweet potatoes. Are y'all dropping comments? Are y'all clicking like and clicking? Let me tell you something. I'm not adding another sweet potato to this Cutler's double layer holiday cobbler until y'all click like and click share. All right. I'm just gonna stay here. Well, okay, thank you. All right. Let me get this done right here. Again, let's see. You know what, you all? Some of these chunks. Remember, I told you that if you get to the end and it's chunky, just sort of cut. Just cut that. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Just a second. I'm going to cut. Whereas that was big, I just cut it in half. All right. Let's see. This is good. This is going to be good, you all. I'm going to cut this in half too. All right. And I am so thankful for friends and family who show up during the holidays and make the holidays special, as they already are. But I love seeing my family and friends over the holidays. So remember, I told you all that's about 4 medium-sized sweet potatoes. That's 4 medium-sized sweet potatoes. That's 4 medium-sized sweet potatoes. I'm gonna put this in the oven. I'm gonna put this in the oven in just about a few minutes, but I'm gonna open this and put this crust on one more time. This is the last layer of crust. All right, you all, I had to take just a little break because I had to finish cutting the strips for the next layer. I added the next layer, so we are ready now to put the strips on the top. Doesn't that look good? Doesn't that look good? You know that look good, but I ain't doing nothing with it until y'all click like, click share. All right, so you see I've got my layers up here, horizontal and vertical. And what I've done, you all, you can see this. So I took this is about 2 teaspoons of sugar, maybe a tablespoon and a half of sugar, and just a little bit of my cinnamon nutmeg combo left. And I didn't add it all in there because cinnamon and nutmeg really by itself is a little bitter. And again, y'all, my hands are clean. So what I'm doing, I'm taking this, I've put butter on these strips. Now all I'm gonna do is just take this and sprinkle across the top of these strips. And these are the details. So when I say cooking with love, these are the details for me of your holiday cooking. Yes, I could have just made a cobbler. I could have just put my sweet potatoes in here. But for me, the reason I attached my name to this as Cutler's double layer holiday sweet potato cobbler is because I really believe in cooking with love. So you take a look, a close look here, and you actually see the granulated sugar crystals that are going on the top of these strips of crust. And that's what's important to me. Sure, it's a detail, it takes time, but remember back in the day when you knew family members were traveling to get to you, and the holidays were just so important. And I remember my family members, they would put the desserts all on the buffet, they would put them in the china cabinet. And so now that I've gotten that done, that's important to me. So I've gotten the crust topped and coated with sugar because it's going to crystallize. And what's important when it comes to sweet potatoes make their own syrup. And so I'm going to put these sweet potatoes in the oven. And let me just tell you all this. If you put a sweet potato in the oven, just like if you like regular baked sweet potatoes, putting it in the oven is much better than in the microwave. And let me tell you why. Because when you put a sweet potato in the oven, and what my folk do, we would just put, sometimes we call it meat grease or bacon fat. We rub the soap, we wash the sweet potato, make sure it's dry, and then we would just put bacon fat on the skin of the sweet potato and put it in the oven, just there in the oven for about 45 minutes, even to an hour, because it has natural sugar that's going to crystallize. You put a sweet potato in the microwave, y'all know I'm country, ain't nothing crystallizing. Because all a microwave does, you all, is goes through whatever you put in there, and it heats up the water elements in that food product. So you can bake a sweet potato in the microwave, but you're just going to get a baked sweet potato where it's steamed from the inside. It's not crystallized. Put sweet potatoes in the oven. Take time. Speaking of the oven, you all, I'm going to take this now. Doesn't that look good? I ain't going to the oven till y'all click like, click share. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to put this in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. Now I'm going to tell you why I put it in that long. Don't y'all leave me. Don't you leave me. Let me just tell you this, and then I'm going to put that in there. Now what I'm going to do is turn it the long way. Yeah. Make sure you're careful so you don't burn yourself. That looks good. And one of the reasons I put it in the oven, I'm going to let it stay there on 350 for an hour, because I want it to slow cook. I want the sweet potatoes to cook slowly. And you don't want to undercook your sweet potatoes. Not in a cobbler, not in yams or anything. You never want to undercook your sweet potatoes, because that means they're going to be hard and crunchy, and you don't want that. Folks are going to talk about you if you mess up sweet potato. But I'm going to show y'all how not to do that. All right, listen. Thank you for joining me. For now, I'm going to come back in a few minutes and take this cobbler out. I'll see y'all in just a few. Right, click like and click share. Double layer sweet potato cobbler. It's time to take it out of the oven. All right. So remember, I told you to cook for like 40, 45 minutes. And that's it, you all. Let me show you something. Can y'all hear that? That's that sugar and cinnamon and nutmeg and vanilla extract, all just caramelizing. All right? But do me a favor and do yourselves a favor. I ain't talking about click like and click share this time. I'm talking about make sure that you don't want to eat sugar as soon as it comes out of the oven. And these sweet potatoes have been cooking in sugar and all that kind of stuff. You want to let it sit for a while. And after it sits, and it will decrease to a temperature that's really comfortable in terms of eating. Click like, click share. Comment below if you would add this to your holiday recipe. Just comment below if you would add this to your holiday recipe. It's called Cutler's Double Layer Sweet Potato Holiday Cobbler. All right, that's it. I'm gonna move on to something. Look at that. Y'all, let me tell you something. Cooking brings out all of my Southern experience, all of my Southern dialect, everything. This right here, I told you all, this is Cutler's Double Layer. sweet potato holiday cobbler. Oh, I gotta try. And I've added enough crust to it. And I'll tell you this though, before I've already scooped up. Let me just say this: in terms of scooping it out of the dish, you just get a spoon, serving spoon, and just dip it out of the tray, so you can just serve it in spoons. It doesn't have to be cut or anything like that. But there are a number of ways that you can plate this. You can certainly do it a la mode with ice cream and whatever your favorite ice cream is. A lot of times people say, oh, you need vanilla ice cream. But let me tell you this. I'm from the country, right? So you can use chocolate ice cream if you want. You can use strawberry ice cream. But what I recommend, y'all, I recommend some butter pecan ice cream or French vanilla. All right, let's just taste this. I gotta dig into it. And when you first try it, oh, the crust is flaky. The glaze is on it, so you can probably still see the glaze. Remember, I put the little sprinkles of sugar and cinnamon on it. And so you want to make sure that it browns. So that's why you leave it in the oven until that browns. Your sweet potatoes are going to have a natural glaze. The sugar, the brown sugar, the white sugar, all that stuff is going to cook. Let me just get to eat it. All right, let me just try this. Wait a minute. I gotta get 2 forkfuls because I told y'all this is Cutler double layer. Double layer. Sweet potato holiday cobbler. Wait a minute. Let me say this. You can't worry about weight. When you got this right here, don't y'all worry about weight. Eat your food and get through the holidays. Eat your food and get through the holidays. Y'all, wait a minute. First of all, let me just show you, and I shouldn't be playing with my food. I'm not playing with it. But I want you to see that crust. Because when you take a look at that crust, you should see the sugar and the cinnamon kind of stuff on it. Remember, I took my time and I sprinkled that on it. And it is, the butter is there, the sugar, it crystallizes and it adds a different little texture to it, and that's what you want. Food should be an experience. It's all about textures rather than what have you. This is good. Please comment below and let me know if you're going to try this. I'm excited. So when you prepare this dish, you have a Cutler dish on your table. This is Cutler's double layer sweet potato holiday cobbler. All right, let me just try one more. Y'all click like and click share. Let me show you something. Come on, let's cook with Cobbler. Oh my goodness. I hope you all like that recipe. And I tell you what, Auntie, you asked about the ice cream, and I tell you what, I hope you all can see this, because not only can it be plated and served just like it is, but that evening I didn't get a chance to include it, but I wonder if you all can actually see. Can you all see that? So get something like a champagne glass, something that sits on a stand. It makes for an elegant presentation. And what I did with that was just to put a couple scoops of the I put a couple scoops of the cobbler in there, and this was butter pecan ice cream on top of it. Let me just show you. I know it's probably going to glare, but I want you all to see that. It's an elegant, simple recipe with elegant presentation. So think of something like that. What I could do differently, I could probably, Auntie, I see you asked that, what would I have done differently? What I'm going to try is to, the deeper the dish, the more layers of sweet potatoes you can add. So, have fun with this dish. This is one of those dishes that you can have fun with. So that is the one thing that you may want to do differently. You can also, if you really like crust, what you can do, instead of cutting your crust up in strips, you can just put the whole crust in the bottom, just like you do a pie, but just put it in a casserole dish. So that's something that you can do differently with it. You can have fun with this in terms of the extract that you add. What bodes well, what blends well with sweet potatoes and brown sugar, you can add just a hint of lemon extract to this as well. You can add so you can have fun with your flavors. So any mixture of extracts and flavors, you can have fun with those. All right. So that's something you can do. Lots of things, but just have fun with it. You all, did you all like this recipe? Let me know if you honestly like this recipe and if you're thinking about trying it. Because for me, you all know this channel is about motivation, and honestly, it is about inspiration. And one of the things that helps people to get through the holidays is just sharing warmth and sharing love. And for me, because I'm Southern, I'm a Southerner, and I told you all that you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. That's just who I am. It speaks to who I am. It is a nod to my heritage. It is a nod to my ancestry to cook like we cook and to enjoy the holidays like we do. So make sure you all over these holidays. I'm going to talk later, a couple weeks from now. I'm going to talk about this whole notion of dealing with grief during the holidays. But for now, I want to arm us and empower us to be able to share love and to spread joy and good tidings and all of those things over the holiday. Let's see. But if you added a lot of layers, would you need to cover and cook? And cook for a bit. Yeah. Yes, fabulous me. The more layers you add to this, then the more complex you're going to have to deal with it. So I'm going to experiment and just play with it. But I like the double layer because what the double layer does, it gives me a chance to put that extra layer of crust in the middle. And I know a lot of people like the crust. So I'm going to stick to the double layers for a while. But yeah, you could try all different kinds of extracts. You all, but let's get to with your cooking. Let your cooking include love. So I'm going to share something with you that I wrote in this book. I think this is my fourth book. Yes, this is my, maybe it's the fifth book. This is the fifth book. Something that I wrote. I wrote lesson 57. It says cook with love. I want to share this with y'all, and then I'm going to close and share a poem that I wrote. But this lesson 57 says, pour your heart into your food. Your heart doesn't have a taste that's palatable to the tongue, but it's definitely perceived by the soul. Use fresh ingredients when you can. Refrain from using imitation anything. Give people your best. There's a reason why soul food is called soul food. It warms, comforts, and nourishes far beyond the body. When I was growing up, Southern kitchens were the gathering place for friends and traveling family members, especially on Sundays and holidays. Let me know if that was the same for you all. People would pour so much love into a sweet potato pie until just one bite could bring back happy memories of almost 50 years ago. And so much love would go into a pan of macaroni and cheese until generations of kin folks would flash across your mind. The greatest compliment to my cooking has come when people said, my mom or grandmother has been dead for many years, but your bread pudding, your pies, your rum cakes remind me so much of her. If you pour love into a dish, it will leave a lasting taste for generations to come. So as you all are cooking, as you're sharing your heart, make sure that you pour love into what you do. We may not necessarily all be millionaires and rich and all those sorts of things, but we have an abundance of wealth in our hearts, an abundance of wealth in our souls, an abundance of wealth in our spirits. Pour that into your food. Pour that into your food, and people's souls will sense that. I believe that with all of my heart. And so one of the things that I want you to do is I'm talking about pouring from your heart. Over this holiday season, I want to empower us. I want to give us something that is going to strengthen our hearts. All right. So thank you, Jay Song, for you. Jay Song says you are such a good writer. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so very much. And my writing, I hope, is one of the gifts that I'm sharing with you all. So I want to share something else with you because I want your hearts to be made glad over this holiday season. So I wrote this one poem, a very recently written poem, and it says, pick up your heart. I know we're going to suffer. Some people will suffer heartbreaks and all of that over this holiday. But I want to offer you this as we go off the air this evening. And meet me next week because we're going to do some other things. Next week is a Thanksgiving week, but we're going to do some other stuff, you all. But I want to encourage your hearts as we go off this evening with this poem that I wrote. It says, pick up your heart. Pick up your heart a musical instrument covered in a distant fog, in a different band, a different song, a different uniform, a different routine, a different drum major, and yes, a different day. But it's the same instrument. You fine-tuned and mastered the sound. Don't lay it back down. Pick up your heart and just march. I want to thank you all so much for spending this time with me. Thank you all so much for being fellow passengers. You encouraged me. You've lifted my heart. I appreciate that so very much. So please, let's continue building community. Let's maintain connectivity. You all keep your heads up, but more importantly, keep your hope up. Hope in yourself, hope in your family, hope in your friends. All right. We are still dealing with the pandemic and all that stuff. So you all stay safe and stay sane. And please know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. Meet me right here next Tuesday. I got another recipe for you all. Good night.